Look, we have to start off with the virus, with Omicron. What sort of a potential risk, I guess, headwind do you see going into next year?
Look, it's certainly a risk, and it's obviously with us right now. One of the our outlook that we published back in November suggested that the outlook for the Australian economy and also earnings growth is going to be quite strong, but we did identify a risk, which was the virus. But clearly right now, I mean, that is an issue and needs to be addressed and needs to be, and we need to know a little bit more about it. The pleasing part, I guess, if there is a pleasing part at this point, is that there are indications that the virus itself is not as severe and it's something that we need to be dealing with going forward. So should that be the case and we get through it relatively unscathed, and what I mean by that is that hospitalisation rates and deaths are actually very low, that will be on balance a very good thing. And we will see a rebound, as we predicted, into 2022.
Because the base case for some of the sectors that you're positive about, the reopening trades, really leisure, hospitality, travel, does seem to assume that we won't be returning to lockdowns.
Yeah, I think that is true. And certainly I think in Australia we are in a far better position than other places around the world. We are one of the most heaviest vaccinated nations globally. And we're also advancing our booster shots as we speak. So again, that is a positive as well. I think that there is a commitment by the premiers of each state to work with each other and to keep the economy and borders going and open. And I think that is likely to be the case, but there may have to be some refinements. And those refinements will be obviously predicated on finding a little bit more about the current strain and how best to address it. But that is something that obviously that needs to be in balance. But if we do, as I said earlier, if we actually get through relatively unscathed, I think the outlook still remains for a significant rebound in activity, particularly in the leisure space, where I think that people are itching to get out. Pent-up demand is very high, and people want to get on with their lives.
For resources, we've just seen data showing us that fossil fuels actually were still the bulk driver to these record resources revenue for Australia. Do you see that transition, the energy transition, happening in the opportunities?
Look, I think it will happen, and we will see the transition occurring. Clearly, in our way of thinking, that it is a necessary step that we need to obviously still transition via gas in some way in order to actually bridge that step to cleaner energy. We are seeing a significant amount of investment in cleaner energy technologies, and clearly Australia is one of those beneficiaries of that as well, because we are a major supplier of the enablers, if you like, from a metals perspective, to ensure that does occur. So the likes of rare earths, for instance, lithium, nickel, copper are all very necessary in order to actually take that final step in order to deliver cleaner energy going forward. But there will be a transition, and we are experiencing that as well.